Welcome. In front of me is a LENOVO Tab P11 2nd Gen, and today I will go over unboxing along with a quick overview of this device. So anyway, just pop it straight open. There we go. Now we have little stickers right here. There we go. So right at the front we have our device. Now in here we got the pre-included stylus. See how that looks like. It has two actual buttons here. It looks like that's a charging port, so we need to charge it. And that's about it. It has okay weight to it. Feels like just a little bit heavier pencil. Size of it, pretty decent. There we go. Now, anyway, SIM ejector, paperwork. Nothing in here. And on the other side we got a charger. 20 watts. And a cable, Type-C to Type-A. And that's basically all we get in the box. Let's move over to the tablet. I'm gonna turn it on. So there we go. So the tablet actually seems a little bit bigger than I expected. It's a 11.5-inch display, though honestly, I don't know why it feels a little bit like it's bigger than that, though it just could be me. Anyway, into the specs of the display. So it's an LCD IPS display, typical brightness of about 400 nits, 11.5 inches, 82.6% screen to body ratio with 203 pixels per inch, which puts it as a resolution of 1200 by 2000. Now for a tablet like this, I think the resolution is pretty decent. So obviously you should have no like pixelations and stuff like that visible, at least at a reasonable distance as you would normally hold this device. So yeah, this should be pretty decent. Now I didn't change the language, so I'm gonna come back here. English, there we go. I'm gonna just breeze through the setup right here just so you can see how the UI of the device looks like. And there we go. Now, after the setup, the actual display, at least the image that they show right here, does make the display look pretty nice. Let's see in terms of the brightness. I'm gonna max it out. So this is maxed out. Actually, I thought that it might get a little bit brighter, considering it was like at less than half brightness, but that's not big of a difference. But anyway, in like terms of using this obviously indoors, you should have no problem. The display looks nice, vibrant, and indoor conditions bright. And now outdoors condition might change the perspective of how you perceive brightness here, but for indoors it's pretty good. Now let's see, do we need to pair this? Oh, nope, just once you hover over it, it looks like it starts to work right away. So there we go. just a little test right here. But anyway, let's keep on going. So in terms of camera, because we do have two cameras on here, at the back right here we have a single camera setup, as you can see, with a flash, and this is a 13 megapixel wide sensor. Now at the front we have a 8 megapixel sensor, and both of these cameras can shoot at 1080p 30 frames. So there we go. Obviously the device isn't necessarily for taking photos at this size, so the cameras obviously aren't the main focus of this device. It's primarily the display right here and the longevity of the battery. So in terms of the battery, we're looking at 7,700 milliamp hour battery. So this is a huge battery cell in here. One of the biggest ones I think I have seen so far on a device. Now, this device comes also in a couple variants. So you have at the very base, 64 gigs of storage with 4 gigs of RAM. And at the highest end, you can get 128 gigs of storage with 6 gigs of RAM. Now, this is actually the version I have, the highest one, with 6 gigs RAM and 128. Okay, I'm not going to be forcing that in. Let me just quickly try to find something else. So I'm trying to see if we have expandable storage. There we go. And it looks like we do. So we have expandable storage. So even if you go for the lower end, for instance 64 with 4 gigs of RAM, you should have, well, ability to obviously pop in an SD card and probably extend it to up to like half a terabyte, which is pretty good. Now, last is the processor in here is the Helio G99. It's an octa-core processor at like 2 cores at 2.2 and 6 cores at 2 gigahertz. So there we go. Now, I honestly don't know how well this processor performs. That'll be something that I will test out later, but for now I'm just gonna give you the name. If you know what it is or how good it is, then obviously you don't need to look it up, but I'm not gonna say anything about it. I have honestly no clue how good this performs. So there we go. That's basically sums up the device. And now to quickly go into the build quality and a couple additional features. So at the back we have a pretty nice design. I do have to say I do like it. We have an aluminum back right here and something that kind of is like a plastic rubberized surface, or I'm not exactly sure how to classify this, but it's not metal and it's not rubber, or maybe it is some rubber. I honestly can't tell. It has really weird surface to the touch. Now at the back, or at the bottom I mean, we have a charging port, speaker grills and a headphone jack, and at the top we have more speaker grills and our power button, and then volume rockers on the side. And at the landscape version of bottom, we have these little pogo pins right here and these 2 notches, because this tablet can be used with a keyboard, so we can basically use it as a 2-in-1. You just slap it in if you get a keyboard, and you should be good to go as a semi kind of like laptop-ish device. Now, last thing to mention would be the price, and this device comes at about 350 euros. So honestly, I think this is a pretty decently priced device for a tablet. It's not too expensive at the first glance, just by using it like I did when I set it up. Once it's gone through the initial setup, it just seems to work for the price decently. So it's not really stuttering, it's opening up apps pretty quickly. It won't be a flagship grade device, but at least personally I think for like Netflix, YouTube, or just browsing, it's powerful enough to do all of that without a problem. There we go. Now typically I would nowadays give you kind of like a pros and cons of this device, but to be completely honest, there is not much that is coming to my head in terms of pros and cons of this device. So in both cases I don't see anything that is super like making this device stand out, but also I don't see anything that is making this device be bad. So I'm just gonna say it, at least at the first glance that I see me have a first look at it right now, it seems like a decent device. I could be completely wrong with more time, but that is something that like I said, more time is needed. So anyway, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.